My name's Peter Shands, and I breed Campines, gold and silver Campines, and some Wyandotte Bantams, and it raises the question, why did I choose those breeds when there are so many great breeds to choose from? So just before I titled this talk, Choosing Your Breed, or How to Have Your Chook and Eat It Too. It's my best attempt at humour for the day. The situation, I guess, is that you will have seen, well, how many were here early enough to see a shed full of chooks? Anyone? There were a lot of different breeds here. And if I could just check in, thanks for being here, but where are you all from? Country, city, in town? City. Yeah. Anyone from the sticks out there? Gundaroo? Yeah. Byron? Yes, the sticks, the frozen south. So one of the things that's important in choosing your breed is to recognise where you are. You know, and why did you come today? You came today presumably because you're interested in chickens or waterfowl, and you want to learn something about it, you want to buy them. The other thing that's important is some people want information before they buy. Some people buy, then sort out the problems after. Anyone in that boat? I'm buying, now I've got to work out how to do it. Right, you need more raffle tickets. That's the important thing with this. So what are some typical reasons people would buy eggs? It would help me if you help me, tell me. Why would you buy a chicken?
Pets for the kids, but also eggs for the food.
Yep. Yep. Two good reasons. Big one. Anyone got a different reason? Sorry? You want them to make garden beds? Right. I'll help you with that one. And use it. Eggs. Eggs? Any meat people here? See, it's really interesting. In gatherings like this, nobody wants to consider the day, right? They're friends, right? When we have roast chicken, I sort of do this. My friends. The other thing you can use them for is in a vegetable or fruit system, right? You can integrate them into a holistic. Anyone know permaculture? Aware of that? You can integrate them. In fact, chickens are part of the permaculture system. What do they call them in the permaculture system? They use them as a tractor, right? They use them to turn over the garden and turn the compost, make manure, turn over the shavings, get rid of bugs and things like that. And that's a great reason for them.
And you can show them.
Sorry?
And you can show them.
You can show them. Now, Lucy, how long have you been showing chickens for? How long have you been showing chooks for?
35, 40 years.
40 years of showing chickens. Why do you show chooks?
Well, I have chooks first of all because they make me get out of bed every morning.
Yeah.
And I just love the hobby. It's once you have them, I just can't get them. You know, like say, oh, I don't want chooks anymore. I couldn't do that.
No.
No, it's just a fantastic hobby, and you meet some fantastic people.
So one of the other, you probably have a chook mascot on the coffin, won't you?
Oh, probably.
Yeah? What breed would you put on the silky, maybe?
I don't know, I'd have 3 or 4, I'm afraid.
There you go. So Lucy's very attached. She comes down from Cooma to be part of this, has been a local here, and a great ambassador for exhibiting poultry. Who wants them just to look at? How many people got goldfish? Fantastic. Yeah? Well, see, compare these to goldfish, right? What's the problem with goldfish? Who's had fish? Won't have them again. Why won't you have goldfish again?
When I feel sorry for them because they're in a small place and they just die.
And you can't eat the eggs, right? And it's hard to put everything in the compost, isn't it? Yeah, and they don't eat the weeds, and you've got to sprinkle the right amount. So chooks are a fairly adaptable animal, and they can do lots of things for lots of people, but they look fantastic and they're better than goldfish. End of a bad day, nice to let the chooks out when you're home, let them in the garden, throw a little bit of scratch around, a little bit of wet bread or something, have a cup of tea, and the world ain't so bad anymore. It's simple, they're therapeutic, they're fantastic animals. So I've got the handout, it's got eggs, meat. You can eat them, and you get to eat your mistakes if you want to.
But you can't eat them, Peter, if you put a name on them.
That's right. That's right. So Lucy has 750. No.
Unless you call it roast.
Yeah. My kids used to call the lambs roast 1, roast 2, roast. Anyway, and it does teach kids responsibility. And as Lucy said, it gets us folks up every morning when you really would want to sleep in. But kids learn responsibility with chickens. You can hatch your own chickens, you can take them all the way through. Half of them will be roosters, right? So what is it about the poultry that attracts you? That's the first thing really in considering a breed that you might have. Does that make sense? Yeah? Now, keeping chooks is always fun. They never die. They never dig up the wrong stuff. They never just leave little calling cards around the place where you don't want it, do they? It's all about fun. So choosing the right breed has a great deal to do with the fun you have. If you have a situation where you want the birds on the ground, you need to select a bird that primarily spends its time on the ground. Typically, they're a heavier breed bird. Now, these little fellas here were bred to look fantastic like they do, right? And you see people with these. Les, you got peaks, yeah? Yep. They don't fly to the top of trees, do they? No. They walk around the ground, they look fantastic, they satisfy most of the requirements from that perspective. And if you have a situation where you're trying to get a big egg, big body chook, and that's what you like, and you want to spend heaps of money on food, you buy the really big ones, and they have really little eggs. Okay? And it's all about investing. You know? When you want to have a bird that is laying plenty of eggs, typically over time, breeds that were bred for that are lightweight. How many of you have seen an Isa brown chook? You know the commercial layers, right? They're a lightweight chook, aren't they? So they're frugal, they don't eat as much as the big heavyweight chooks. And they lay plenty of eggs, and that's what they're put together for. Now many of the light breeds, Anconas, Campines, Leghorns, were all fantastic egg producers in the day, and they were the commercial breeds. Now, they're less used because they've developed these hybrid stock designed for very confined situations. So, choosing the right breed, the light birds will fly up. My Campines would, I don't know, they would certainly roost here if they're out, and they get up into the limbs in the trees there. So they're fairly safe from ground predators, right? They're not very safe necessarily from aerial predators. So think about your situation. If you've got great big open paddocks, what sort of bird would you want? You want a green one that looks like the grass so that mob up top can't see it. The wrong breed won't help. A breed that is designed to turn things over and very busy in a confined place, you will find has social issues. They're just too active to be tightly confined. As well as that, you will also understand that they're going to turn gardens over quickly. You go, oh no, I just put the petunias in, and they're into the petunias. So you can have sedate, slow-moving breeds. I'm not going to tell you what breed to buy, I'm just saying think about these things when you're looking at it. Go to a breeder's place wherever you possibly can, see how the birds behave. Now some are crazy, some are just going to, little fellas are very vulnerable. I mean, you look at that little modern-day, right? It's tiny. I mean, how big are we? How little is the chook? What's the obvious way that bird can feel safe? Anywhere away from us, right? So it's got to have a brain that means we're important to it, but on the other hand, it's very vulnerable. So a great big bird might feel less vulnerable with us. True? Make sense? So they're the things. And what will make it fun for you? People say, I want an Isa brown. And look, hand on heart, buy purebred chooks. Because here's what happened. No one here wanted to eat their mistakes or kill chooks. True? True? Yeah. Isa browns stop laying. What are you going to do then? Free Isa browns. You know what happens then? Someone comes along, buy the old hens, take them home, yeah, in the pot. And it's, you know, Robin and Sally and Susie and Joe. All the chooks end up in someone else's pot, but that's what you're doing. You buy purebreds, they will not run out of eggs at 18 months. They will slow down and they won't lay in a year, the first year. They won't lay the 300 odd eggs. But a campeen, for example, lays 270 eggs a year, is non-broody. That means they don't lay when they molt, but they don't go broody when they wouldn't be laying as well. Now, by comparison, my Wyandotte Bantams, if I don't get the eggs out of the pen, say there's 5 chooks, in 2 days I don't pick the eggs up, I'll bet one will be broody, right? But they're fantastic, but I've got to get the eggs. How do you break an animal from being broody? There are ways. That book that we sell is just fantastic, and it's probably, as I said, the best book that we've got. So just in summary, some breeds will avoid you. Right? They'll want to be away, out of the road. Some birds will gravitate towards you all the time, and the more energy you put into it, the more fun you have, the closer the birds will be because they relate to you as an important part of their life. Kids learn a lot about, by the way, about stockmanship. You know, when does an animal look healthy, when does it look unhealthy? Make sense? Are we going all right? Different birds. David lives at Gundaroo. He's got different capacity with birds. Can have a rooster, can run them out broadly, more easily than birds that fly over a fence in town. So under those circumstances you might say, I live in town, maybe I need a ground hugger. Because the moment you clip the wing, you all heard about clipping a wing, which is just the primary feathers, about 30% of them, they don't fly. What impact would that have if a dog got in the yard? Someone? Anyone? Dave? Yeah, Tana chook, right? Chook's going to run around till it's knocked up, dog's going to grab the chook and go away. Chooks can't fight to protect themselves, can they? So they have to run, fly, they've got to get away. You enable their movement, you make them vulnerable. So pick the chook. Different chooks for big blocks with big yards and cover. Netting can help. Small blocks, small chooks. The little arc over here. Anyone see the little raffle prize over there? These little fellas go fine in that. My campeens would be stir crazy in that. Right? There'd be feather picking and the social behaviour would be bad in that. My little Wyandotte Bantams would be happy as Larry. And that's the one, you just open it up, sit on your chair, chuck some food out, watch them feed around your feet, a little bit back in the pen at the end of the day, shut the door, and they live there and they're happy as Larry. So, very important. Free range. Anyone got an example of what's free range mean? Pretty topical at the moment, right?
Outside.
Sorry?
Outside.
Outside? That's right. Like big open space, true? Vulnerability. What does battery mean for you? How many people give the thumbs up to battery? There must be someone who loves battery. No? No one loves battery chooks? Interesting. About 1950, birds in production systems were moved from what they call colony houses, and a lot of combination of those and free range into batteries. And there's some myths either way. One reason was that they could manage the health of the birds better, because disease transmission in poultry is very easy. You know, they're a social animal, they eat on the ground, they perch all together, so, you know, a bug on one bird just moves along the perch every night. So they worked out that by quarantining birds within pantry sheds, for example, if that was full, you would have a shower, a change of clothes there, then you move to that one, shower and change of clothes over there. Okay? You wouldn't take the same clothes, the same footwear from that battery facility to that one. Now, I don't like batteries. I would rather see chooks out and about. But the point is that that breed was bred for that purpose. Right? The commercial birds were bred for that. When you think about free range, you've still got to get eggs in. So a nice combination where you have a yard inside that the birds, right number, right size yard, some density, how many square metres per bird, some open space, make the right combination. Depending on your circumstances, the bird should fit you, rather than saying, I want that bird, and then find out you brought a disaster. Not that the chook will be, it's the circumstances will. Does that make sense?